Greetings, YouTube. I'm sporting my new t-shirt. It is an anthropomorphic bear, and yes, I am aware that it makes me look like a gay man. I'm okay with that. So today I thought I'd take a minute and talk about the Conan movie, the original, with Schwarzenegger. Okay, I'm probably going to take more than a minute. I watched this last night with my wife with commentary, and I can't actually tell you exactly what my wife's opinion of it because it would require me to swear. But the commentary track was a lot like listening to Beavis and Butthead. Schwarzenegger, when he's relaxed and casual, is not a sophisticated man. He very much sounds like an over-hormoned 14-year-old. And not what you'd call open-minded when it comes to diversity and equality. Let's put it that way. It was an experience. It was. Now, I went to see the original Conan movie when it opened. My friends and I either skipped school, I was a senior in high school, or I think I was senior in high school, could have been junior, I can't remember, or cut work, and we all went to see the first showing of the movie when it opened Friday. And there was no midnight release in my area for it. If there had been, I would have gone. And we all loved it. We were all gamers, and very shortly we memorized this entire film from beginning to end. So I'm not actually going to review it. Anyone who wants to go find the storyline of the Conan movie, just find it any 1,000 places online. But last night I was really looking at the film with a little more distance, because I'm listening to the commentary track and I'm talking to my wife while it's going on, so I'm watching the visuals in a way that I really hadn't watched them in the past. And the only thing I really found a little off of it visually was the opening scene in the village where Conan is a child and his family is, they're attacked by Thulsa Doom's forces and Thulsa Doom himself. And the village really didn't look that great in retrospect. It didn't look like an actual village. It looked like a caricature of what someone thought a barbarian settlement would look like, which isn't actually the same thing as an actual, nomadic or semi-nomadic settlement would look like. But other than that, I was really impressed by the visuals of this film. I never really thought about the fact that the scenery looked really good. It was filmed in Spain, and they had a wide diversity of terrains to have an access in Spain. Spain's been used many times in films for that reason. But the scenery was beautiful. I was very much impressed with how well a lot of the special effects and the matte paintings and things like that really lasted. I mean, they still look good after all these years, I think. And I was also very impressed by the horse work. I never really noticed how well trained the horses they had. A lot of them, they were these short-necked Spanish horses, so they were very agile horses, and they really used that in this film. There's a scene in the opening sequence where Thulsa Doom gets off a horse, and the horse backs up to reveal Thulsa Doom getting there. Now, you're in a crowd of people, tightly packed, and yet this horse executed a perfect reverse move, which is not easy to get a horse to do under the best of circumstances. There are a lot of tumbles, and as they mentioned in the film, the director and Schwarzenegger, that the riders of these horses, when they tumbled, frequently got hurt, but the horses themselves didn't. I found that interesting. But I really enjoyed this. Now, one of the reasons I watched it is that I'm looking forward to the remake, the reboot of the Conan film. I haven't had a chance to see it yet, and it hasn't hit the cheap theaters in my area. And if it does hit the cheap theaters, I will see it there, or I'll wait till it hits DVD. Yeah, I know it hasn't gotten great reviews so far, but I still want to see it. I watched the trailer and a couple of clips, and they look entertaining at least. I watched a lot of bad fantasy movies in my youth that were all rip-offs of the Conan movie. Once the Conan made it big, everybody had to make a fantasy movie to hop on the bandwagon and make a buck. And I watched a lot of them, and many of them were really bad. Some of them were, bad in a good way, but some were just horrible. Sword and the Sorcerer, for example, was a horribly bad movie that I love. Hawk the Slayer, horribly bad movie that I love. I have to get copies of those. I don't have copies of either of those. But I mean, Schwarzenegger looked great in this. Sandal Bergman looked good in this movie. I enjoyed the adventuring aspects. They really sold to me that they were mercenaries, that they were thieves, that they were sell swords. I really got into this film on every level. I was still able to disengage myself and enjoy the film in that. The weapons were wonderful. The armor, while not perfectly realistic in some regards, still looked great. For example, under a lot of the helms they weren't wearing no padding. In real life, you would have had some kind of padding between you and the helm. Otherwise, the helm doesn't do a lot for you. But it was a lot of fun to watch. The stunt work was great. I enjoyed the fight scenes, the scene on the hill in the last reel where he plans the death field and Thulsa Doom's forces come in and they just 3 guys take on this entire group and kick their butts. I mean, that was just very much enjoyable. I had a good time. But I enjoyed Conan the Barbarian as much today as I did when I first saw it. Those many years ago. I haven't re-watched Conan the Barbarian 2, Conan the Slayer, in years. I'm not really looking forward to that experience because I thought that Conan the Slayer was pretty bad. But I'll probably re-watch it at some point. I think it might have a commentary track will make it a little easier. But I've been interested in hearing your thoughts on Conan. Did you get a chance to see Conan when it first opened for those of my age bracket? And if you haven't, what are your thoughts on the film? Do you think it's just cheesy? Is it cheesy good? Is it cheesy bad? Do you appreciate the fact that Schwarzenegger's debut onto the world is this classic fantasy film? It was a lot of fun back in the 80s, and it's a lot of fun now. And the commentary track is a thing to behold. It really, really is.